All of the lights on this trailer had been wired 2 or 3 different times throughout its life. Some of the wires were on the inside after I took the paneling and the insulation out. The probably original wires were there. There was some wires that was fastened to the outside and ran around. Didn't look like any of it was really intact. So I'm going to replace all the lights and go with new. That way we know at least we have a good ground system, which is a problem. So we'll take things apart. Hi there. So today it's time to patch a few holes in this. This is where one of the tail lights was, and it has a lot of holes around here from previous tail lights being put on this thing. So the first thing I need to do is sand all this down and patch the holes. That way we can get started making this thing look better. So first step into patching the holes is to sand it down, and then we'll use some epoxy to seal it up with.
The sandpaper I use for this initial bit is 150 grit. Did a really good job cleaning off the old adhesive gunk and made the holes a little bit smoother at the same time.
Now it's time to fill in those holes where the lights were in the camper. And I'm going to fill it in with some JB weld. With those big holes are too big for this JB weld to stay by itself. So I have a piece of screen wire that I'm going to have to coat first to make a solid backing to put behind to fill in the big hole with. If you never used this type of epoxy, we're just going to squeeze out 2 equal size blobs, if you will, whatever amount you think you're going to need, and then you stir it up, mix it up until you have one uniform color. And then it's a simple process of spreading it out and let it set up. Yeah, I could easily have done the whole batch, the whole tube at once. But that's okay. This will not be a fast process. Because it takes 24 hours for this stuff to cure. Then we'll use the patch and put it into the holes and let it set up again. And I won't be able to make just one pass at it. I'll have to mix up several batches, make several layers to get the holes filled in. Because there's a lot of them, and some of them's pretty big, as you may have seen when we sanded down, took the tail lights off and sanded that spot down.
I tried 2 different methods to fasten the patch on the inside. On the passenger side, I used some epoxy that was a putty consistency that you kneaded up between your fingers. And on the driver's side, I used some double-sided tape, just like you would put emblems on a car with. At the end of the day, both of them seemed to work pretty good.
This is the hole that we used that two-sided tape to hold that patch material that we made in place. So we're going to see if we can patch this thing up. And the little blade that I use, this seems to work well for me. It's just a no scrap credit card, debit card. This is actually a gift card from the store that is no longer in service. So I'm going to fill that in. Didn't quite get that mixed up enough, did I? It's going to be okay. It's not that much. It's big enough, I kind of have to do it in at least 2 sections or 2 different layers, because this is on a vertical and it kind of sags over those 4 to 6 hours while it's sitting up, and naturally we want it to stay in place. Fill in all these little bitty holes. And then tomorrow we'll come by, well actually tomorrow, 24 hours later, we'll fill this one up and then let it set for a day. And then the next day, we'll come by and sand everything down, get it ready to paint. Trying to get a bead on the back side of that. Like a BB, I suppose. A little mushroom head on the inside to hold that plug in place. So after it dries, it's not just going to fall out. A few little dents and dimples. As long as we have this mixed up, may as well take care of it.
After I get all the holes filled in and brought out to level, I'll start with 220 grit and work up to 300 grit sandpaper. Get this as smooth as I can get it ready for the paint job. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy our video. Stick around, we'll see what comes next.